Yes, guys, welcome back to Canary Cast. This looks very different, doesn't it? We're trying to come out of COVID. We're trying to do stuff in person now that we're allowed to. So it is literally just me and Jacob sat in front of a desk at the minute. That will change. We will have a more professional setup. But we're hanging out. We had a pint at the pub. And we heard some news about Angus Gunn. Apparently, there is a bid on the table. Now, initially, I was quite excited. Jacob has some concerns, but you're generally quite excited, aren't you?
Yeah, man. I think for the value you're getting, really, you're looking at a player who's played 46 games for Norwich, played pretty well as well in a season where we struggled. I think the name romanticised it as well. Obviously, his dad Brian was absolutely Norwich City legend. I think you look at him and say, for the value that we're looking at, he could be a Premier League or Norwich player for the next 10 years easily.
Yeah. I think when you think back to that team he was part of, like you said, 46 games, played every game. The only real gem, I suppose, we had was Maddison at that point.
Yeah, you probably look at, because Hanley came second in the player of the season, you'd probably say him and Hanley and Angus were probably just behind James in terms of actual quality, weren't they? Like the amount of saves Angus made, I think, well, we made him a £15 million player in terms of going to Southampton. It hasn't worked out for him, and you look at it and you think, sometimes a player and a club just combine, don't they? Just work together, like his dad, Brian. For me, it makes sense. You know, you look at Tim Krul, who's been brilliant for us, 33 currently. You look at him probably for the next year or two and say, yes, he's ready. Angus currently 25. You look at that and say, for the value of the money, there's a ready-made replacement for Tim. I think it's completely worth it for me.
Yeah, I would have thought so. You said the £15 million to Southampton didn't quite work out. He's obviously been on loan at Stoke since then. Only made 15 appearances for them. Why do you think it hasn't quite worked out for him?
Just seems when I've seen him play, there's a lack of confidence there. Which, to be fair, when he comes back to Norwich, it almost feels like he's home. He was obviously born in Norwich, came through the academy before going to Man City.
Feels safe here,
and he looked like a proper good Championship level goalkeeper, didn't he? I'd say passed out from the back, maybe not as good as Krul, but that can be learned. Shot stopping wise, for me, from what I remember of him, he was good enough, and he'll be ready to develop and improve. And like I say, with that name, they'll also give him time to be able to improve that kind of level. And I just think it makes sense, like we're saying. It just seems to all fit, all hand in hand, and I could completely see why Webber's bidding. You know, we were saying in kind of on Twitter and previous videos that we say a backup keeper doesn't make too much sense to pay for, but with this kind of unique kind of standard, you know, you let him go and he goes and performs at a club that have been linked, Brentford, Leeds, wherever. If he then goes there for a small amount of money, performs, you're thinking it was a wasted opportunity. Yeah. For me, I think you need to go there. He wants to join, which is most important. He loves Norwich, and that's the most important thing. I think he could be a very crucial player for Norwich in years to come. Yeah,
I think he is perhaps one of the... Because we have got a bit of a problem here where Krul is obviously the number one.
Yeah.
And it's going to be hard to recruit.
But this pushes him enough. I think Ralph Fairman did. Now, there's a quality enough to go, you know what, if you drop your standards, you get injured, Angus can come in and provide quality competition, to be fair to him.
No, definitely. And I think he's one of those very few players that would come in, have enough of an affiliation with the club to just be back up for a year.
At 25 as well for a goalkeeper, that's 10 years minimum, isn't it? Yeah. Avoidance of injury, which he hasn't had yet. Like I say, played 46 games for Norwich, looked comfortable there. And with the lack of games again, he'll be raring to go. There's that hunger again to go and prove himself, which makes me very excited to be able to see, yes, this is a lad like Tim Krul was when at Brighton, third choice, came back and wanted to prove that he is a quality goalkeeper. I think this is a lad who is definitely capable of top-end Championship, Premier League level. And at 25, for a low price, I don't think you're really going to get, and especially loving the club, is there a player who's better for that position? I don't think so.
It does fit really well. Even if it's just the romance of it, it does fit really well. You mentioned price. Let's talk about that, because $5 million has been floated about. I would imagine the initial bid that's gone in, there is a bid on the table at this point. I imagine the initial bid is slightly less than that.
Yeah, but then again, $5 million, let's be fair. If Southampton paid 15, I think if he then becomes Norwich's first choice in a couple of years' time, $5 million is going to be an absolute snippet if he goes and played even one Championship season to the level he did a few years ago now. I think Daniel Farke trusted him, liked him. I think he exceeded expectations. That's obviously why he went to Southampton. And sometimes it just doesn't work. And sometimes you do just need to come back to a place where you know everything about the club. You know everything. You feel confident. They feel confident in you. It just works. Everything works there. And for me, it's an absolute snippet, even if it is $5 million. I think whilst I didn't really want to pay for a backup, I think with the kind of look into the future, he will be easily Norwich's number one for a number of years to come. And we'll be looking back at it and saying, you know what, it was a great big piece of business, really.
Yeah, it's a lovely, lovely fit, isn't it? Well, finally. Well, actually, before I ask you whether you think it will happen or not, let's talk about international stuff, because he's obviously eligible for England and Scotland. Perhaps England is a bit out of reach, especially at the minute. But it's not unfathomable for him to come in, play backup for Krul, have a good season or two, and then get himself into Scotland.
Especially if Norwich are in the Premier League.
Yeah.
You know, you look at it and you look at the Scotland keepers at the minute, David Marshall, John McLaughlin are playing backup for Rangers and Championship for Derby. You think there's an opportunity there if he wants to. I think he just needs to get that career back on track. 25 is a good age. You know, 27, 28 is when you're starting to get to your peak. And then most keepers nowadays, 30 years old is when you hit your actual peak. So when he'll be at that stage and Tim Krul will probably be retired by then in 5 years' time. Angus Gunn will then be ready and to go. I think he could be, he'll go and make hundreds and hundreds of appearances for Norwich and just be ready. I think he looks like he wants it to happen. Well, of course he wants it to happen, you know.
He's hardly playing.
Let's be fair as well, like being harsh to Angus, there's no club the size of Norwich who would be interested in him as a potential first choice. As a backup, maybe, like we're saying, Leeds, Brentford have been rumoured, but that's probably a backup. David Raya and Meslier are not really going to get replaced by Angus at the moment. With Norwich, there's a clear kind of plan, isn't there? You know, Tim Krul will be slowly faded out, I imagine, which will be fine. He'll be happy with that. He loves the club, and he's been brilliant for us. And then Angus will then come in as first choice. I think it makes perfect sense all the way round, really.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. It's a lovely fit. Okay, final question: is it going to happen?
I think for the money that it's costing, with Norwich currently in the Premier League, Angus wanting it to happen, Southampton seemingly wanting Angus to go, it makes perfect sense. I'd be surprised if it doesn't happen, especially if Norwich. Well, we know now Norwich have made the bid. It seems like they are happy in the knowledge that they will get Angus and want him to come. And I'm excited for it, you know, even if it's just the name, maybe we are looking at it a bit too kind of...
I think it's because there's a bid on the table, isn't it?
That's it. And, you know, it's just the kind of whole romance of it, isn't it? But you know what, we're fans at the end of the day, and we love this kind of thing. It just all seems to make sense, all kind of mashes together lovely. And I'd love to see it happen. I think it will, and hopefully we'll see Angus in a Norwich City shirt very soon.
I'm with you on that. I think it's a lovely fit. We were honestly at the pub having a pint. It's Friday afternoon. We heard this and we thought, right, let's make a video, because it is quite exciting, this one. It's a lovely fit. But I think we've covered everything.
Yeah, man.
Sweet. All right. Well, thanks for watching. See you next time. Let's hope this one happens. I really like the sound of it. Let us know what you think in the comments. Keep holding that. I am going to do it in a minute. Let us know what you think. Like, comment, subscribe, blah, blah, blah. You know the drill. Thanks for watching. See you later.
Bye.